some moves are getting made today. And I have just noticed this pattern that there's a lot of moves going to be made before this deadline. Look at all the corners that have been traded. Garyon Conley from the Raiders traded to the Houston Texans for a third-round pick. Jimmy Smith from the Baltimore Ravens. Marcus Peters from the St. Louis Rams. From the LA Rams. Guys are getting traded. Guys are upgrading their teams. We're not doing that much of anything. To be honest, guys, it'd be nice to make a trade for the future. Like a trade for the future would be nice, but at this point, if we literally just had a problem with this defense. Now, offensively, we can't do anything. This offensive scheme needs to go. Carson Wentz needs to be a little bit more free on the field here. I don't know what the case is. Mike Groh, you got to go, bro. Mike Groh at his press conference was pathetic. Talked about the Nelson. Someone asked a question about Nelson Aguilar on that deep pass. That Nelson, he doesn't question Nelson Aguilar's work ethic on the field. And then was asked about Mac Hollins, his one reception in the past, 200 snaps, 160. I'm just going to round it off. Says that Mac Hollins ran some good routes. Great routes against the Cowboys. This is bad. We have a receiver on the field right now that has one reception in the past almost 200 snaps. It's not good. And making a trade, is it really worth it? They should have got Ramsey. They should have traded for Jalen Ramsey because he was worth it 100%. A lot of Eagles fans and plus some Eagles YouTubers think he wasn't worth 2 first-round picks. He was well worth 2 first-round picks. And when he got traded to another team, he held Julio Jones under 100 yards and caused the damn fumble in the game. So, look at all the corners that got traded. Like I said, Jimmy Smith, Garyon Conley, Marcus Peters. At least somebody could have been on this team by now. Does Howie want to tank? Does Doug? Doug apparently doesn't want to tank. Doug apparently he's thinking we're 1 game behind the Cowboys and we have a whole season left. But I don't know. Howie Roseman makes the phone calls, but I don't see much happening. And honestly, to this right now, our defense, does it matter? First, we had problems at the corner position. First, we didn't really have to worry about the offense. Now, if you don't have the right scheme and you don't have the right coordinator, there's no sense to trade for anybody at the deadline. Unless Howie could pull something off that we're not going to lose too much, that's fine. Because you're getting a 3rd-round comp pick for Nick Foles, you're getting a 5th-round comp pick, and you're going to have 10, 11 draft picks next year. But from hearing that today, talking about Nelson Aguilar and talking about Mac Hollins, he does not have the answer. This is a man back in college when he was coaching with it, when his father was the head coach. I forgot what school. And he was the offensive coordinator. His father let him go off offensive coordinator duties for that team. Mike Groh turned this wide receiver core around 2017. 2016, we were the leading team in drop passes. And he turned that wide receiver core around. I mean, from 0 to 100. I mean, night and day. And some people say that Deuce Staley should have had the offensive coordinator job. But He's not cut out for this work. Losing Frank Reich to the Colts was a big punch to the gut. Josh McDaniels was going to be the head coach for the fucking Colts, and unfortunately he backed out, which made Frank Reich go over there. And he's turned that whole entire program around, even without Andrew Luck, with Teddy fucking Bridgewater, a backup quarterback. And last year wasn't even that bad because we lost games. We were 4-6, and we turned the season around because we had a resilient defense. But now we have injury on top of bad scheme on top of everything. The Patriots can use no-name players and still make plays. We can't do anything with what we have unless this turns around. Mike Groh hasn't have a fucking clue. I have us losing the next 4 games, guys. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer about it, but when I see an offense that has speed receivers, I think we're going to lose automatically because we can't stop one speed receiver. You got Cole Beasley and you got John Brown next week, and you got Frank Gore running the football. I don't even think of us as a top rushing defense anymore because it's just going downhill. We were the first and we were the second, and now we're probably 4th or 5th now. And it's probably only going to get worse. Fletcher Cox is not producing enough. The defensive line is hurt. And like I said before the season, when this defensive line gets hurt, our corners get exposed, and that's what happened. We got exposed. I'm going to be a humble ass person. I'm not going to say we're winning, we're going to lose every other game. We're going to lose the rest of the season, but it's not looking good right now. The new norm, it's not good. No moves were made. No one was fired. If the Eagles lose at least the next 2 games, something's got to be done. Something should be done now, but, we're not in charge, so we can't really do much. But this is disgraceful. This trade deadline, we can all be excited about it, but it's like, if we get someone worthwhile, then I'll be happy. Why don't you trade for Robbie Anderson? Why don't you give a 2nd-round pick to the fucking Jets and get Robbie Anderson here? At least he could play this year. And I know Wentz will throw the ball downfield, but the problem is we can't throw it downfield. I know we can throw it. We're not like the Jets that don't throw downfield. We can throw the ball deep to somebody. The problem is we don't have the right person to get down deep and fucking catch that deep ball. Behind Deshaun Jackson, who do you have? You let go of Shelton Gibson. You got no speed. Period. You got nobody with speed behind that. So the Eagles have brought in 2 undrafted defensive tackles off practice squads, and they just worked out another defensive tackle today. A former 1st-round pick of the Packers. I forgot his name. But they brought him in, which I wasn't going to make a separate video about because I really don't care. So they brought in 3 defensive tackles. They're trying to get as much depth. If that's the case, then Timmy Jernigan's not ready to come back. And he's going to have to knock rust off, just like Crevon LeBlanc is going to have to knock rust off, just like Avonte Max is going to have to knock some rust off, just like Jalen Mills is probably still, Jalen Mills, he had a pick, but it was a forced throw in the end zone, double coverage, whatever. At this point, I don't even know what's going to happen. But if they get someone at the trade deadline, it better not be just a rental for this year because, sorry, but a rental is not going to solve our problems on both sides of the ball. Bring somebody in that's very good. Bring somebody in that we're going to be like, that's the kind of trade I want. I don't want we're just going to rent this guy for, that Golden Tate trade last year was a waste of a fucking 3rd-round pick. Sorry. And they used him on 3rd downs only. He was a 3rd-down receiver when he's a starting receiver in the NFL. A lot of changes are going to be made next year. A lot of changes are going to be made. And if Mike Groh is still the OC next year, it's not going to be good. So, that's all I got to say. Let me know what you guys think about everything that's going on. Say what you got to say. Do what you got to do. But keep your eyes open for this trade deadline. But they need to wow me in this trade deadline, at least for the future, because a rental this year is not going to cut it. A 30-year-old corner and Chris Harris Jr. is not going to cut it. The coaches need to get their shit together or make some fucking changes, because otherwise it's going to be a long fucking season. That's it.